When you look at the leaders of countries, you might not realize how much pressure they're under. Every single minute of their day is planned. They can't have a moment to themselves. They can be woken up at any hour, and they have no right to complain. Stay with us as we take a look into the life of a president, though not just any president. Vladimir Putin, a leader who has no plans to step down anytime soon, is still holding his position. Today, we'll explore a day in his life. Vladimir Putin is one of the wealthiest people in the world. You've probably seen a few photos of Putin riding a bear, which many thought were real. Maybe you imagine that when he wakes up, a bear serves him breakfast. But despite his wealth, fame, and power, his life isn't as extraordinary as you might think. Putin usually wakes up at around 12 p.m. His daily breakfast includes cheese, oats, and an omelet. However, his breakfast must come from his personal kitchen. If it's prepared elsewhere or with ingredients from an outside source, he won't eat it. Even the vegetables and fruits must come from the grounds near his palace, and other food items are sourced from highly trusted, specialized suppliers. Putin is extremely picky about food. There have been times when his personal chef prepared the best dishes, but Putin refused to eat, saying, "I don't like how it looks." His fussiness becomes even more challenging when he travels abroad. He has a trusted personal chef who accompanies him everywhere, and Putin eats only food prepared by this chef. Even at state banquets, his chef is sent to the host's kitchen to prepare a separate meal for him. One thing Putin never touches is milk. It's unclear whether he's lactose intolerant, dislikes milk, or is simply cautious because milk can easily be poisoned. In Russia, poisoning political figures is unfortunately common. For example, Alexei Navalny, one of Putin's opposition figures, was poisoned and survived, but his health has been permanently damaged. Back to the Kremlin. The staff working on Putin's farm are all from the Russian Orthodox Church, which Putin trusts entirely. After breakfast, he drinks coffee. By now, it's 1 p.m., and he still hasn't started working. That's because he has to swim first. He spends 2 hours swimming and says it's crucial for his health. During this time, he may be thinking about the country or nothing at all. Meanwhile, the Kremlin staff wait around, knowing that Putin will show up whenever he's ready. Those who work with Putin know that pleasantries like, "How are you?" are meaningless to him. He never asks how others are, and if you ask him, he won't answer. Many people believe Putin doesn't actually enjoy being president, but feels that if he steps down, Russia will fall apart. He is still bitter about the Soviet Union's collapse and despises figures like Gorbachev, whom he blames for it. After swimming, Putin still doesn't start working. He lifts weights next, often while watching the news to stay updated. Once that's done, he changes into formal attire. His favorite suit brands are Khitan and Brioni, both extremely expensive. By around 4 p.m., he finally sits at his desk. When he starts working, it's all business, no room for distractions. The staff, who have been waiting for hours, feel nervous because Putin is demanding and expects results. In his office, there's no modern technology, just an old-fashioned phone. His day begins with paperwork, reviewing reports, giving orders, and signing documents. He also reads important global news and even German newspapers, as he's fluent in German from his time as a KGB officer in East Germany. After paperwork, he follows a pre-planned schedule, such as making a call at 6 p.m. to someone like Donald Trump. Unlike other leaders, Putin dislikes large meetings and prefers phone calls. When Putin leaves the palace, he only goes to 2 places, the Kremlin or the airport, nowhere else. He doesn't even enjoy going to the Kremlin, but he has to for meetings. In these meetings, no one makes eye contact with him, and he doesn't greet or say goodbye to anyone. There's no smiling or small talk. He listens to what others say, reads prepared notes, and gives orders. As the day turns to night, Putin leaves the Kremlin and returns home. Nighttime is his favorite part of the day because he can start his real work. He's like a night owl, working late into the night. The staff, who have been there since early morning, wouldn't dare say they're tired or want to leave. You might think he spends his time with his family, But he doesn't. Putin rarely sees his children, perhaps twice a year. Instead, he spends time with his 3 dogs, Connie, Yumi, and Buffy. Journalists often try to photograph him with his dogs, but when they're around, the dogs bark at the reporters, and Putin finds it amusing. After playing with his dogs, he resumes his work until it's very late, around 1 a.m. But even then, it's not bedtime yet. He retreats to his room, where no one knows what he does. Some speculate he reads books until 3 a.m., though he avoids showing himself as a bookworm, preferring to appear tough. Finally, around 3 a.m., he goes to bed, ready to wake up at noon and repeat it all over again.